I was the caretaker for my grandmother when she had cancer, and she actually died on top of me. And I remember she was getting sick everywhere, and I was underneath her holding her up so she could breathe. And it's normal when people are going through chemo that they have all kinds of body symptoms, and it's messy. But the thing is, when she passed, I was stuck underneath her because your body, when it goes limp, for some reason is so much heavier. Again, this is kind of messed up, so I don't know how far your video goes, but when someone dies, their eyes lose blood and they lose the color in their eyes. And I just remember like looking and being like, oh my God, like it was a sadness that was not just a matter of my loved one is gone. And it wasn't just the fear of me being, around that, but also having to, she has the same color eyes that I do. So for like weeks after that, it was this thought of like, that's what my eyes will do.
I didn't get to see my kids for a little over 4 years. And by the time I saw them, I was out of the army, and my ex-wife invited me to see the kids, but she insisted that we do it in a public place because she didn't want me to get mad that she had stole all this stuff from me and took my kids. And so she made me meet her in the toy section of Walmart. I have 3 kids, and my 2 sons were running around playing with toys and not really talking to me. And my daughter, who when I left, she wasn't even old enough to walk. She was just crawling. She was almost 5 years old, and she was in the arms of this guy that I had never met. And my ex-wife was like, do you want to let your dad hold you? And she said, this is my dad. And it was the guy that was holding her. And she called me Kyle, my name.
Then I was adopted, and they told me that when I was like at age of 11 or 10, and it hurt. They don't treat me good. They really don't. They gave me away when I was like a little kid. If you are adopted, right, just know that's a good thing, because they'll treat you more better like your actual family.
I remember I got into trouble with this girl, and I remember my mom just looked at me and she's like, Logan, you're a disgusting pig just like your father. And that really fucked with me because my parents had been divorced for a while, and I didn't really know my dad, so I didn't know if she was being serious.
I was told he knows where to find me if he ever wants to see me again, and that's what my dad said to me. That's the last thing my dad ever said to me, and that was like almost 10 years ago now.
Well, it really doesn't hurt me, but my dad left me when I was like 4. Oh, that my dad left me.
I know I'm not as good as the other boys, but like, I'm trying, man. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Well, like the saddest thing I've ever been told? It was too small.
Sad.
I only ever married you because I thought you were going to be an engineer.
I'll just go.
Well, my ex took her away from me, so she used my disability against me in the courts, and then took my kid away from me.
Probably when my wife woke up one day and was like, I don't love you anymore, and then left that morning.
I guess it would have to be when I lost my dad. I was like 16 years old when my dad died, so it was rough to go through because my dad had cancer, so like he had it for a long period of time. Yeah, from when I was like 10 to like 16, he was sick throughout that time, and then he passed away when I was 16. Growing up in that situation where it's kind of like, well, shit, like you gotta like grow up because you don't know if he's gonna die or not. You like it could happen at any time, right?
Dad left, but he told me the line was long, so he'll come back eventually.
Life itself is full of stress. Sometimes we need something just to curb the stress. Why do we get on VR chat? To escape the depressing world out there that we live in. To be honest, I really enjoy virtual reality, and the reason being is because I use it to get away from the current reality that we live in sometimes. And it's not like I hate the world. I'm not saying that. I just need to escape it once in a while. You know what I'm saying?
So I had a behavioral, like emotional disorder that is really severe called borderline personality disorder, and it can make you schizophrenic, and it did with me. I had a wife though, basically for like almost 9 years. Okay. And I like really loved her, and she was really nice, super nice. Okay. She like tolerated me for a long time, but something was going on with me and I had no idea what was going on. And I'm terrified she's going to leave me, all these different things, right? She's had mental illness in her family too. So I don't want to burden her with what's going on with me, but I just slowly get worse and worse and worse. And I slowly, I can't control it, but I basically made my like girl hate me, and I couldn't stop it. And eventually she just leaves me, and now if I try to talk to her, she'll call the police.
I was abandoned by my parents. They were both drug addicts, and when I went to go be put in the foster care, neither of them worked to keep me under their guardianship, or I don't want to say control, but like they didn't fight to really stay as my parents.
Just keep your head up, and no matter like what happens, just don't try to act like you're okay, because that'll just make things worse. Tell people how you feel, no matter like how you feel. Like if you're feeling down, go like tell people that you're feeling down and like get some help before it gets any worse.
I'm gonna say one of the first times I ever went to a funeral, it was a really close person to me. And I'd say probably the saddest part is I couldn't even show emotion. I just felt indifferent, and I felt awful about feeling indifferent about it.
You want to hear the most depressing thing I've ever told anybody? My dad admitted to me that if he had the chance, he would have been okay with me never been born. Like, exactly what do you say to him after that? Nothing. You know that you didn't want him. You know that he would have been okay with you never been existing. You know that he would have been okay with your siblings that had never been born. So after that, what's left? Nothing.
For the longest time, my mom was poor because my dad threw us out of the house when I was younger. Anyway, don't ever try to fail. Don't give up. Push through it. Push through the pain and all this shit like that.
So I had to face like a lot of different things. There's grieving, there's fear because I was stuck and I had to call someone to come get me and help me. And there was facing my own mortality in like the 5-6 minutes, and I was 18. It was such a deeper sadness than most things I'd ever felt, because it was just like, I feel like there's a normal fear of death and a normal fear of dead people and a normal fear of losing your loved ones. But something about like facing, I guess, the perpetual cycle of it all and having to sit and think about it, because I was probably stuck under her for 11 minutes or so. It just set me like spiraling. And like I said, I don't remember most of that day now, but I have it written in journals, which is so much more messed up.
It was when I lost my family. When I was in the military, I was married and had kids. I learned a lot during that time about love and about myself. And I found out that I was getting a divorce from the lawyer. She didn't tell me. She just quit answering my phone calls. She quit talking to me. And all of a sudden a lawyer called me and said that I was getting a divorce, and that if I didn't contest it and didn't try to take anything that she had at my house or at our house, that we could share the legal fees and everything like that. But that if I contested it, I'd have to hire my own lawyer, and then he would work against me. And I really couldn't afford it.
Plenty. Actually, I just survived from one. It's gunshot. I'm a gangbanger. Basically, I'm a member of Crips, and I decided to pick on someone, but then later on, I did get shot. And then blood started rushing into my lungs, causing me to cough and throw up blood, damn near killing me when I made it to the ER.
I'm older. I'm like 43 years old. I lived like a little bit of a ravenous youth. You know what? We'll just treat it as like a forewarning to people.
Shit happens, man. She's gonna turn 18 one day and then wonder who her father is. Yeah, man. That's how I got through it. I got autism, so like they kind of favor the mother in those situations. So because I didn't have a lot of money at the time, I had to like represent myself in a way. She had a lawyer on the other hand, and she basically got whatever she wanted, where I was trying to fight for it, obviously. But as I said, they favor the mother in those situations. So I was apparently an unfit father.
It's not just like multiple, it's like hella personalities. Because your emotions are basically like cracked. You can't control your emotions. So you're like angry and then happy and then sad and then happy and then all these different. So you become like your emotions are so severely different that you act like different people. The whole time that this has been happening to me my whole life, right? I've been searching for a way to fix it. And I finally found the cure right as she left me, right? And this was my worst moment, right? She left me, right? And I figured out what was wrong with me, figured out the cure, all this. I even figured out the cure to the illness that runs through her family. And I tried to talk to her, and I'll show you before I go. But and it's what cured me, right? But she doesn't want to talk to me, right? She won't talk to me. She's blocked me. I can't tell her. She's just gone.
For example, Facebook, we see them through pictures, and then that's how we see them. But here we see each other like as an avatar. I see you as an avatar, you see me as an avatar, but it's a form of a way of escape and just meeting new people. That's just I think it's a good thing. I mean, it's VR is actually maturing. Is getting better and better. I'm glad Facebook came up with this. It's just actually pretty cool. I like it. Back then VR was just too expensive for a lot of people.
My father was a heroin addict. He gave me to a random girl when she was buying some weed, and he was like, "Oh, hey, you want a baby too?" My dad died from using dirty needles shooting up heroin, and he got gangrene, and they had to amputate one of his legs, and he bled to death. It's okay. My dad was an asshole. Fuck that guy.
I lost custody over my kid from drugs. Heroin. That was my drug of choice. But I was in a car accident. I got addicted to painkillers. Just spiraled. I lost such a big part of my life that when you are addicted to like very hard drugs, you definitely just miss life.
Yes. Literally, I just got a hospital for ODing because I couldn't deal with it. And it's not addicted to drugs or alcohol. It's addicted to anything that would relieve the pain at that moment. It doesn't matter what it is.
I was a drug addict for about 3-4 years, mainly ecstasy and cocaine. And now I'm 22 and I still haven't achieved anything.
When I was younger, I did a lot of pot and other drugs. When I moved on, I lost a lot of my social interactions and relationships because a lot of smoking and doing drugs is social in nature. So whenever I left a new substance, I would lose a part of my myself because I would lose a part of my friends. And now I'm clean and don't do anything because I want to live a simple life. The people that I know who still smoke and drink, I don't know, it just seems a little bit overrated. It doesn't really add anything to your life and it has the possibility of taking away a lot.
I have a family of alcoholics. It's been fun. My brother, he drinks a lot and now he's sleeping in the woods on a sleeping bag. The place he was living at kicked him out because he was getting too out of hand. So he didn't choose to sleep out in the woods or anything. Drugs has, alcohol has, sorry, I'm a little high, so I was going to get to that as well. Are you seriously going to put this in a video? You need
Prior to her passing, I had a really hard time with being blunt about my emotions, whether it was to people I had a problem with or people I loved. I was just very, not quiet per se, but I kept a lot of my true self to myself. While she was sick, she was telling me like she was afraid to die or she was afraid of this and she wished she had done this. And ever since probably all of those feelings, it's 100% easier for me now to just say what's on my mind and not be afraid. Whether it's, you know, to my good friend, like, I love you. Because that's always weird between friends if they're not into that.
I went through a period of time where I was very depressed. I shaved my head. It was short because of the military anyway, but I shaved my head. I didn't talk to people and I just kind of became very reclusive. I learned a lot about how to treat others and I realized that my goal was wrong, that I was trying to see what I could get out of the relationship. You know, I expected that my wife would treat me a certain way because I treated her a certain way. I just talked to her the other day, but she is a very sharp character, very, very driven. She found a way to not only backcharge me for child support, but then threaten me with a felony if I did not give her the child support. I told her that I couldn't pay it, and so she had me thrown in jail for 1 day. In order to get out, I had to promise that I would make payments and do all this other stuff, so I got arrested and thrown into jail for child support. And in the end, she said, I will erase all your back child support and I won't charge you anything if you give me full custody of the kids and let my new husband adopt them. I let him adopt the kids, and so I lost it all.
I mean, I died for a good 10 minutes and nothing really happened. All I felt was black and a bunch of vibration in my body, as if I was a controller. It kind of felt like me passing out, but like way worse than not being able to move. Just to hear people talk for like a good minute in black. It was painful, but peaceful, and I hated it.
I went through a home invasion and we were held hostage in our home for 5-6 hours. I was held at gunpoint. The thing that made me cry the most about the situation was that I was ready to die. The only issue is that I didn't want it to happen in front of the kids.
I saw them take her away in this humongous bag and drive away with her. My grandmother, I saw her die in front of me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I broke down crying, being like, why doesn't my dad want to be with me? Why doesn't he want to spend time with me?
I got hurt like years ago. Now I'm disabled. That's kind of one of the most like heartbreaking things because like I can't ever work like a normal job again.
Some of my homeboys, they was shot and killed because of me. You know, I wish I could have them back.
I'm about to crack a beer right now. Motherfucker, I was waiting. Cheers to drink a beer.
I said that he drinks and smokes too much.
My sister, the only one I could really talk to for years, didn't really care about me. She was willing to give me up to CPS, Child Protective Services.
My sister, when she was 10 years old, she had to have a liver transplant. That was pretty heartbreaking for me because I didn't know her health, what was happening with her. She's good though. She's almost 20 and she's been good since.
The most heartbreaking thing I've ever experienced is me breaking up with my girlfriend and her calling me like a bitch and stuff like that. And I basically got sent to a mental hospital.
Hey, don't end up like my last girlfriend. Trust me. Come on. We got you. Come on. I got you. Come on. Hey, like, if you want to like talk about some shit, like talk to me. All right. I'm fine with that shit.
Dang, you're gonna make me cry. Shut up, TJ.
And my birth mother has never wanted to have anything to do with me. And my sisters ask me all the time, do you want to meet her? And I'm like, does she want to meet me? And she goes, well, she's never said anything. And I'm like, well, her. And then both my adopted parents are dead, so
I'm 21.
let's just say I'm old. I'm really, really old. Like I'm like probably the age of your dad old.
Did you ever go to college?
No, I partied at every college in North Carolina, but I did not go there. Like they would have thought that I was a student. Pretty much that proceeded to get me in trouble and get me kicked out of high school. I didn't get to graduate. Then I just kind of got into food service. That's pretty much where I still am now, decade plus later.
For me, I was still working on addiction bullshit and like my mindset, it wasn't still good, and I still am not in a very good living situation. So like, there's factors that you have to deal with, but I'm accepting of it. Like, it's fine.
I'm not gonna answer after that.
What are your thoughts on it?
It's a lot to take in.
It is, but I want to hear what your thoughts are.
I literally found out 2 days ago I only have 2 years to live. I'm gonna basically live till 30. When I was 13, I had stomach cancer, and then since then I've been ODing on prescription pills.
Oh, that sucks. Whoa, that's no good. All right, anyway, look, no matter who you are, no matter what you believe in, no matter what you look like, understand that no one will ever truly love you unless you
said it right.
believe yourself to be lovable.
Yep.
You are your own greatest limiter, and if you stay resolute and believe in yourself and chase what you want to do every single day, then you can achieve the world. And that's coming right from the source.
To my parents, like, hey, I'm going through a lot right now and I might need help. Or to that kid that I have a crush on, I was like, I have a crush on you and I don't want to waste any time, because I've seen what it's like when you sit there with regrets, and I've seen how fast it can go from you're all good to you're not.
I got my life together after a long time, probably it was years of being depressed and not really being able to leave the house. I decided that I needed help, and so I actually went to a men's home for drug and alcohol addictions. Even though I didn't personally struggle with that, it's kind of along the same lines of just having something that I really can't overcome, this problem of not being able to go outside. So I went to a men's home and actually lived in a home with like 20 or 30 other guys. And little by little, I learned how to re-socialize. I learned how to cook my own food. I got back to the basics of when I was in the military, just making my own bed, doing my own laundry, doing all my own stuff. It was hard, but every time that I was sad, the guys would just tell me, life's not over and it's gonna get better.
And my parents sat me down and my mom's like, yeah, your father isn't actually your father, but I'm your biological mom. Your dad left when I was pregnant with you because he didn't want children, so he left. And then she told me when the last time my biological father visited me, he was with his new girlfriend. So, and I don't know anything about him, but it's kind of sad to think that I have a whole family that I don't know about.
And like, even in a relationship one time, I had a guy tell me that I'm just an option and to just like don't think so highly of myself. And it's like, why do I always feel like a punching bag to people? And like, it always makes me question like, why am I so nice to people too? Because I always feel like people just like shit on me.
The most painful thing I've ever been told is like 7 years ago, my girl that I was living with told me she was sleeping with my brother.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this much. I am still a virgin. Actually, funny enough, I have never been kissed by a girl in my entire life.
Probably the fact that I'm autistic. I don't know. That was pretty painful.
I have a lot of shit like this, but I think the most shit that hurt me is like my mom telling me that I'm disappointing her. And she kicked me out.
General,
I'm still a virgin. She kicked me out because I'm smoking some cigarettes.
It was when I was a kid when I was told that I was never going to be able to see my older brother again because he passed away. I'm still trying to figure that out. It's still a process, dude. Some days are easier than others. That's honestly about all I can tell you.
I'm gonna start crying in a second. This is too much.
Your mom has died? I don't know. It's kind of up there. I don't want to get depressed in here.
That Santa is not real.
It was probably getting the news my grandmother's stage 4 pancreatic cancer diagnosis.
Is that his grandma reached stage 4 pancreatic cancer?
You're just stealing somebody else's painful memories.
I think the worst was probably this girl I was with for 4 years, though. Just when she finally told me that we were never going to be together again, that would have been the most painful thing. I fucked that one up, though. That one was on me. I slept with about 9 other girls. It was an accident.
First girlfriend, when she told me she was cheating on me with 5 other guys and only loved me for my money. That was kind of crushing.
I don't know. I guess that I'm not good enough, but it's all in the past. So I see through that now. I see past that now. I know that I'm good enough for anything I want to achieve in my life. But if anyone ever tells you or whoever is about to listen this, you're not good enough, just go away because you are.
I've had a lot of bad things happen to me. Luckily, I'm an artist, so like I can draw, but I can't like work for long periods of time without being in pain. And I'm like laying down literally right now. You know what I mean?
Can you not walk?
I can't stand
Say
for
what?
long periods of time.
It's not true with me asking, but what happened to you?
I was working at
Like, what happened?
Walmart actually, and I had an injury at work, and I like smacked the back of my head, and then I got a concussion, herniated disc. They like paid for some of my physical therapy and then stopped paying for it. I've been dealing with it ever since then. So now it's like like
Yeah,
I have to deal with that
this
for
was
life,
fun.
I guess. Like 5 years. And it's still it's like now I have issues with my ribs and I have short leg because it's all like tense in like the right side of my body. So like it's pulling my leg up and my hip is twisted as well. So I have to keep going back to the chiropractor, having to like put my hip back in place, put my ribs back in place. But it's not like staying that way is the problem now.
I'll tell you how I'm
ahead.
doing right now.
I'm
honestly,
doing better since I met her.
Because now my medicine makes me hate everyone, and my medicine makes me angry as f-
Well, if you want to answer my question, I'm doing better because I met her.
You jerk off! Wait, did you say bad or better?
Better.
Oh.
To be honest, like when I was younger, I was diagnosed with a whole bunch of shit, and they put me on a whole bunch of medication. Eventually, landed me on lithium for a little while.
I've heard of lithium batteries.
Lithium was back. I mean, I'm about to date myself. Back in the 90s, man. It is like the antidepressant. They had me on shit that made me feel like a damn zombie. And it wasn't good. I used to date this gorgeous goth girl. Her name was Liz, and she was the most beautiful creature ever. And then her family had her freaking diagnosed with some shit, and they put her on lithium. And then she starts painting pictures of flowers and shit and trying to tell me how she's related to Jesus. I know Jesus popped up a second ago behind me. I saw him.
They do. They prescribe opiates too hard of a dose for shitty reasons, and all of a sudden you're just addicted. Sometimes you don't actually get your kid back, and that's your choice on what's the best interest for your child. It's also the government's choice. For me, I gave up custody because I knew like my situation wasn't the best for her, and as much as I wanted her in my life, it wasn't the best choice for her, so I gave it up. I already knew. And for me, that was a very hard decision, but that decision was made for her, not for me.
And over time, little by little, I just learned how to just exist by myself. And I had a lot of counseling. One of the counselors said, you'll never be happily married until you're first happily single. You've got to just learn how to be comfortable being by yourself. And then as you're walking the right path and you're doing what you're supposed to do, somebody will come alongside doing the same exact thing. And that's exactly what happened. So over the course of years of just relearning how to do things and cooking my own food, doing my own laundry, waking up by myself, I started going on vacations by myself, started doing things for other people, teaching a Sunday school class at the church, working on the bus. And then one day, this pretty girl, mixed girl, black and Hispanic with bright green eyes, she got on the bus too. Her name's Marcella. I thought, well, it would be neat if we talked a little bit, but I really wasn't interested in getting into another relationship. Even though it had been a long time, I still wasn't ready. And I was worried that it would fall apart. Slowly but surely, it got better and better. And we started talking every day. And now we're getting married.
And the thing that I'm most ashamed of is that I have sexually messed around with almost all of the adult members in the group, even some of the females, and I'm ashamed of myself for it.
I don't have sex.
It's not funny. What the f*** are you laughing about? It's actually sad.
It's funny.
Come on,
If you don't laugh, you are going to cry.
I had a friend on the bus. He would always try to get me to do drugs, so obviously I declined every single time. But the last time that he asked, I took the offer because I had been feeling particularly awful. So I ended up doing PC.
Professional help does help. At least it did in my case. Let me tell you, it is very painful to put on a mask every day just to be accepted. I don't do it anymore. I don't subscribe to that way of life. My entire friend group in VRCHAT, I met at a strip club while I was sitting there dancing on the pole as I'm sitting there like, oh yeah, because that's what I like to do. I like to make people laugh and entertain them. And let me tell you, has that been just a freeing experience?
Have you ever wanted to find that side of the family?
My family was talking. Oh, geez, I slammed my thing. My family was talking about me contacting my biological father due to medical reasons. So, it's gonna be difficult. I don't really want to see him because when I saw a photo of him, I don't even remember his name. He had a freaking mullet.
Yeah, okay, I see why.
In college, I remember I had a teacher call me a vacuous bimbo because I was trying to learn architecture, and it was a man, and he literally told me that my model of my house was like, he's like, you're not here to build Barbie houses. Why are you a vacuous bimbo in front of everybody? And it's like, what do you say to that?
So he was 17 and I was 20. He was in high school and she was 20 or 19 as well. I'm 27 now, and so back then, like they were drinking a lot, and like they were both on antidepressants on and off of them. And I'm not gonna say that was that's not justification, but the person that my brother is now is not the person that he was then. You know, I just kind of let bygones be bygones, you know. Blood's thicker than water. Bitches come and go.
My mom once blamed me for her divorce with my dad. She's like, it's your fault. Yeah, she has multiple personality disorder.
When I found out one of my grandfathers had died, right, like, I didn't cry because I didn't have a huge emotional attachment to him, but like when one of my cats died, I cried, right? Yeah, so it's your attachment to whoever has died.
High five, Bert.
Honestly, my life is pretty boring and I'm emotionally unavailable, so not a lot makes me sad.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. That's something that people should still learn.
Maybe not being like good enough for something, you know, like you're not good enough for this role, or you're not good enough for this job, or you don't have the right requirements, you know, like kind of that degradation feeling of not being able to accomplish something.
My nerve is basically getting pinched by one of my discs in my spine. Every time I would go, they would be like, here's like 800 milligrams of Tylenol, or they used to give me Vicodin. Like, it was hurting so bad. Like, muscle relaxers they used to give me too, which were really helpful and not as like damaging. But then they stopped giving those out too. And I was like, okay, so now what am I supposed to do? Just be in pain? Because like if I was doing this by myself in my bed, right, which I am technically, but if I'm just laying here, I'm just going to end up getting sad because I'm going to start thinking about like everything that's wrong. But if I'm in here and I'm laying here, like Deadpool just shows up, you know?
When I was depressed, and especially in my teens, I grew up very poor in Detroit. We ate out of the garbage. A lot of times we didn't have running water or electricity. I fell away from that and I kind of doubted, like, is there really a God? Is there really a point to all this? I came to this town with $200 and the clothes on my back. In just those years since then, I've been able to get a job working at the Department of Defense. I own a business that owns many homes and an apartment complex. So I'm kind of a landlord. And the weird thing is, for the first time in my life, I have real friends. When I was in the Army, I had buddies and work acquaintances. But for the first time in my life, I have real friends. People that care enough to celebrate my birthday, even when I try to hide it from them and don't tell them when my birthday is.
I tend to use money a lot in my friendships, relationships, whatever, in an attempt to get people to like me more, because I feel like people don't like me on the surface. So I buy them things, or I offer to buy them things, or I take them out.
Take me out to dinner.
On VRCHAT, like these guys who I hang out with all the time, I'll still offer, you know, but like I feel like I have actual friends here versus in real life. I feel like a lot of those people that I go out to like bars and clubs and that with, I think honestly that they might be using me, which is fine because they give me their company in exchange for the money. But yeah, it's just a sad truth, I guess.
I let people walk all over me. I've been through a lot in my life, so I kind of grown off of that. Putting people in front of me, even when I'm at my worst time.
I'm ashamed I had a one-night stand. After I had it, I was like, why did I do it?
Impregnating a woman and producing a foul offspring of a child.
I was always like the outcast kid, never felt like I fit in anywhere. And I know you've probably heard that a shit ton, but it was like something really big for me. And I always kind of like changed myself to try to fit in, but it never worked. So I was always like super harsh on myself to be what everyone else wanted me to be, until I realized, okay, that's not working. I'll never be good enough for these people. I need to be good enough for myself. But then I realized, oh shit, I'm human, you know? I'm not perfect.
Being in a relationship with somebody that stuck with me through boot camp and a good bit of the Marine Corps, and then I cheated on her. You could be the most self-aware dude in the world, but you have one too many drinks and somebody way out of your league makes an offer, and before you know it, you're in trouble. Yeah, sheesh.
I'm ashamed that I can't be as manly as I would like to be. I've accepted I'm a femboy. Like, I'm ashamed of my voice. I sound too girly. When they see me, they also think I'm a girl. I am a short boy.
I am indeed very ashamed about my appearance and skin color.
She pooped on somebody.
No, I didn't poop on anyone.
At the last party she was at.
One time in college, I had to lift a girl for a keg stand, and I totally shit my pants lifting her up in the air.
Is this a true story?
Shit. Yeah, yeah, true story.
I turned down a full scholarship for a 4-year college. It was a relationship situation, and I let whoever I was dating control that situation. So I put a pause on my dreams, and that kind of went out the window. So that's what I'm ashamed of. But that's like a learning experience for me, and it made me like a stronger person to where I'm not having to depend on people.
My biggest sacrifice is my physical health by self-negligence.
When I got circumcised, I mean, I don't know what life is like with balls, honestly. If I go into detail though, it's gonna be weird.
I'm autistic. So basically, I'm high-functioning autistic, which means a lot of things. Essentially, when I was in first grade, I could read at a 12th grade level. My IQ is pretty high, blah, blah, blah. But it means I'm kind of shit at social things in general. So my whole life, I've been told, hey, you're super smart, blah, blah, blah. You're going to do great, blah, blah, blah. And then for my college, I didn't get into any of the colleges I wanted. I had to go to a college that I really just didn't want to go to, and I was super ashamed of that. Yeah, and I think that what's important there is, you know, intelligence means a lot of things. I don't think I'm smarter than people because some arbitrary test and because I can read better sometimes. I think intelligence is pretty abstract, you know. But now I go to a good law school, so I made up for it. I saw what happened when I didn't work as hard as I should have, and it pissed me off, so I worked harder.
Uncle Iro said, you know, shame. You might think that pride is the opposite of shame, but actually the root of shame is pride, and the only cure to it is humility. And so, yeah, I'm so prideful, and I got so much shame, dude. Like, I'm just, like, tons of it, and it's leaking out my ears every day. Just, you know, I got no job. I'm like 25. I still live with my parents. There's so many myriad different things you can be shameful for, you know, but and I am.
Right now, I'm going through a divorce, and I'm drowning myself in alcohol. It's been costly to my health and costly to my friends' mental states. It's not healthy, and I am trying to, like, sober up, but it's so hard to go through the daily without it.
I've kind of become a stoner over the years, to be honest. I usually actually have to be inebriated in some way, like alcohol or marijuana, before I come in VR chat too.
She's an alcoholic.
We don't talk about that.
She got her OnlyFans and everything, bro. She a freak.
I had a friend that I had become pretty close to over the course of 2 or 3 months, I think. And I was with my boyfriend in real life. You know, things seemed to be rather questionable because it seemed to me like he was only with me out of pity because he didn't seem very interested in me. And I kind of like caught on to like how he would back off when he was around people that he knew around me because he was ashamed of me and stuff. So I was just like, I noticed that, and I was like, I tried to talk about it and it didn't go so well. So I was like, all right, I'm not gonna just be with you because you feel bad for me. That's not what's gonna happen.
Like, I didn't get my balls necessarily cut off. I just got them circumcised. No, that's the thing. Yeah, I had cancer when I was really young. Testicular cancer? Yeah, I just have no balls.
No matter what you do in life, even if you move or whatever the case may be, life will always go on with or without you. So just seize the moment, really. I guess it's like a bittersweet.
I think it's just who I am. I kind of forget. I force myself to forget those kind of things. But I think the most hurtful things are what I tell myself. I constantly question my worth as a person because a lot of people have high expectations for me. And whenever I don't feel like I meet those expectations, which is definitely not healthy, because when I don't meet those expectations, I am incredibly down on myself. Like the little voice in my head just constantly telling me, oh, you're worthless. You didn't do it right. And there's a lot of what ifs, you know?
Follow your dreams. If y'all got a dream, follow that. And I hope you succeed in life.
My ending doesn't end very happily. Some individual in particular said something about shooting to wound, and that's what they were trained to do in the military. That really pissed me off because that's untrue. This person straight up lied for the sake of to have an excuse to have a problem. Straight up passing along straight up misinformation.
So his family was never very good at being there for him. So it was the kind of thing when they would, they would notice it anytime I was there. I would always know what to do, how to calm him down, how to cheer him up, and we'd hang out and it'd be great, fantastic, great guy. And because I was so good at it, the family was like, hey, if we need you to do something, we'll call you up, right?
Yeah, no, my darkest moment is when I left my home country. I moved about 15 times. Kind of confusing when you grow up, not knowing like who you can call like part of your family, because like your friends are always changing constantly.
When I was 8 years old, I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. So it's like a thing where your insides attack your body. So it's in my bowels and I bleed from the inside. And it's still a thing. Actually just took my shot not even like an hour ago. I have to take a shot every 10 days, and I have to take 2 pills every day.
Here's the message that I want people to understand. No matter where you are, who you're with, as long as you're okay with yourself and like enjoying your own life, everything will be fine. Whatever happens, as long as you are okay and have a positive mentality about it, you'll be fine eventually. You'll find the right people, you move on. That's what I learned from moving so many times.
I actually had a friend in a kind of like that, and I said, like, you know, you got plenty more life to live. Like, it's not all over because of one little mishap. Think about it as a learning experience.
Don't take life too seriously. Just stay positive and love yourself.
Oh yeah, and one last thing. I don't know who's watching this, but I think I can speak on behalf of everybody here. We all love you, and stay hydrated. Life is worth living, and just smile. You look better when you're smiling.
All right, group hug. Group hug.
Good luck with your YouTube. Have good family. Bye-bye.
Nothing is permanent, so whatever you're going through, however sad you are right now, it's not going to be forever, and there's always people out there to help.
Yay! Yay! Let's go!
Kindness is contagious. When you are kind, you inspire others. Be the spark. Spreading kindness merchandise available now.